In today's lesson, we'll be looking at something called histograms. In order to make histograms, we also have to set up something called a frequency table. We're looking at a frequency table right now. And what a frequency table does is it displays data that we may ask people in a survey. So let's say, for example, we're going to ask people how many times they've ever been on a roller coaster ride in their life. Well, on the far left column, we have what are called the intervals. And that's the possible number of times that people have been on a roller coaster. And our intervals, if you pay attention, we'll see are going within the same range of numbers each time through. 0 through 3, 4 through 8, 9 through 13, and so on. And if you count up, you'll see that the intervals are 4. So there are 4 numbers in each range there. Now, tally is really simple. When I go around and survey people, what I'm going to do is just put a tally in the tally mark. And now for the frequency, and the frequency means how often something happens, how frequently it happens, I just write in the number after counting up my tally marks. So let's say that I conducted this survey about how many times people have been on a roller coaster in their life. And I go around, people start telling me how many times. I get a few for 3 times. I get a few more for this range of 4 through 8. I get 2 people there. 3 people telling me they've been on 14 to 18 times. I get about 5 people telling me they've been on a roller coaster 18 to 22 times. And we get 1 person telling me they've been on 23 to 27 times. So, now that I have all of my tallies calculated, I'm going to put that number onto the frequency side. 2 tallies means it's happened 2 times, or we could say 2 people have been on a roller coaster 0 to 3 times. Come here, I count up 3. Over here I get a 2 again. I get a 3 again. 5 and 1. So now just by looking at my frequency chart here, I can tell that most people from my survey have been on a roller coaster 18 to 22 times, somewhere in that range, because it has the largest number. 5 people have given me that response. And now that we've collected our data and made a frequency table, we're able to create what's called a histogram. Now that we know what a frequency table is, we're going to look at a histogram. A histogram, many of you will have some familiarity with this because it looks a lot like a bar graph, and we've seen and done bar graphs before. In order to set up my histogram, I have to make these 2 lines kind of form an L. These are actually called the Y and the X axis. And after I make my axis, both the Y and the X, the first thing I want to do is put a 0 in this bottom corner. Just like that. Now, we're actually going to use our frequency table to help us create the histogram. And the reason why is our frequency is going to be represented on the side. Remember, that's the number of people. And our intervals are going to go down here. So let's start to put that together. Well, if we start with the frequency, we know that our highest number was 5. So I'm definitely going to want to have 5 be up toward the top. And since they're such small numbers, I can probably do them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe just go up to 6. Now if we add larger numbers, our lines may be represented by 2s or 4s or 5s, something that will allow us to show a greater range. But since we're only dealing with 5 numbers, it'll be really easy for us to set this up. So each one of the lines I make are going to represent a number from frequency. 1, 2 will go there. 3, 4, 5, and we'll finish with 6. So now that we've taken care of the frequency side, we want to put our intervals down here at the bottom. So we'll start off with our 0 to 3, and I'm going to put this here kind of at a side angle. Remember, our next interval was 4 to 8. After that, we went 9 to 13. From there, it was 14 to 18. After that, 18 to 22. Extend this out a little more. And we're finishing with 23 to 27 as our last number. Now we have both the X and the Y set up. So the last thing to do is actually fill in our bars for each interval. So we'll go back to our frequency table. We know for the 0 to 3 interval, we had a total of 2 people telling us they've been on a roller coaster that many times. Well, this is the number of people. So I'm going to draw this up to the 2 and bring it over to where our next interval starts. Well, for our next one, 4 to 8, we'll have to 3 people. So I'm just going to continue off this line up to the 3 and bring it over to where our next interval starts. 9 to 13, we had 2 people again. So I'll continue over from 2. 14 to 18, we had 3 people, so it's going to jump back up to the 3. 18 to 22, this was our largest one. So we're going up to the 5 this time. And back down for our final interval of 23 to 27. And we only had 1 person tell us that. Now if we'd like, we can color this in so it kind of sticks out a little bit more. And now what we've done, ladies and gentlemen, we have taken the data from our frequency table. We've translated it into what's called a histogram, and this is a chart that is really, really easy to see. Oh, roller coaster rides, interval 18 to 22. Most people have been on a roller coaster 18 to 22 times, and we can tell that right away because it has the tallest bar on the histogram.